It was 9 o'clock at night when Bill finally made up his mind and made his way upstairs to the bedroom. Anna, his pretty wife of 26 years, was going out with her friends. He didn't like it when she went out with these women last Friday, and he wouldn't accept it as part of the new weekly routine. Anna saw the look on her husband's face and sighed. "You're not going to bitch about this, are you?" He nodded at the tiny dress spread out on the bed and the sexy blue underwear she was wearing. She looked stunning in them. "I haven't seen that before," Bill said. She looked a little uncomfortable. "Well, of course you haven't. I just bought them this week." He walked to the bathroom with a thoughtful expression on his face and quickly returned with her laundry thrown in the wash. "So this is normal for your husband?" He pointed to the very plain, cotton bra and panties in his hand. "But you're glad you bought these," he nodded at the tiny blue bra and matching lace panties, "for some random man you haven't met yet?" Bill looked intently at his wife. "Not yet," he paused meaningfully. "Unless it's just another party with the girls from work, maybe you've arranged to meet someone there, kind of like a date." He bowed his head thoughtfully as Anna stared at him incredulously. "No," she exclaimed. "There is no one else. How could you even think of that?" "So," said Bill, ignoring her question and choosing his words carefully, "when you go out with these friends, don't you ever dance with other men, hug them, kiss them, or let them touch you? How dare you even suggest such a thing?" Now she seems to be getting angry. "I dare suggest it because I know more about your friends than you probably think," he replied. "An unmarried woman, a couple of divorcees, and you're the company. Do you really expect me to believe that when they're looking for casual sex for one night, they won't try to bring you down to their level? How dare you judge them?" Anna snarled. "I'm not judging them," he replied in a straightforward tone. "They are free to make their own choices, just as you are." She looked at him with unconscious suspicion. "And yet you tell me not to go. What choice is that?" "I didn't tell you not to go. I made it clear that I considered such behavior inappropriate for a married woman, and that your friends were dragging you into a situation that would inevitably end badly for our marriage. Are you really suggesting that my meetings with my friends might jeopardize our marriage?" She snorted mockingly. "Don't be so damn insecure. I'll always come home to you. Why do you care so much?" "I'm concerned because you're the most beautiful woman I know, and you're going clubbing with single women I don't trust. Add to that lustful men and alcohol, and it leads to problems." And, he continued, raising his hand to prevent her possible retort, "Our marriage is already in danger because you think that this," he outlined her almost full nakedness with a wave of his hand, "is something your husband should just accept." "Well, it's too late now. I promised to meet them at 10, and you're going to make me late by continuing the conversation like this." Anna turned away from him and went back to her makeup. Bill decided to take one last shot. "You also promised to honor your husband," he remarked wryly. "And now you seem to be quiet enough to ignore that promise. Or are your friends' feelings more important to you than mine? What the hell's gotten into you?" She cut me off in a stern voice. "I'm going out for a drink with my friends. That's all. Now, for God's sake, leave me alone and rest." Bill took a deep breath. "The thing is, I want to trust you, but I refuse to sit at home every Friday night wondering if you're going to take an extra step tonight and end up sleeping with someone by the bar wall. I wouldn't do that. You." He stopped her again. "Gail bragged about just such exploits on social media last week. She's one of your friends, and that's exactly what she was doing. How long before you start believing it's okay if I never find out?" Anna just stared at him silently. Bill continued, already starting to get angry. "If you want to go dancing, take me with you. If you just want to rub your breasts against strangers, then be honest and we can get it over with right now." "Now you're just insulting me," Anna responded with indignation. No. I'm being honest. I don't believe you don't do dirty dancing or make out with scam artists looking for casual affection or, even worse, a quick fuck. I'm willing to believe that you haven't slept with anyone, yet. But that's the choice I offered you. Go or stay, it's up to you. But keep in mind that I have a choice, too. If you go, I won't wait around to complain and whine when you come back. There. He said it. He gave her every chance to understand his concerns, to hear his desire to make their marriage a success, but she ignored him. Now she had a choice, him or her friends. That's a damn bad joke, Bill. She was as angry as he had ever seen her in the 4 years they had been a couple. No, it's not a joke, he said quietly. If you want to dress like your promiscuous friends and go out drinking and dancing with them every Friday night, and that's okay with you. I'm just saying that the prospect of me sitting around waiting for you to come home one day satisfied with yourself is not something I see in my life, he said as he walked to the door. I have things to do. I'll be downstairs when you decide. She sat silently in front of the mirror, brooding. She hadn't had sex with others, well, not really. But there really had been temptation last week, and she'd given the guy relief with the hand job, but that was it. And she liked the way men looked at her on the dance floor. It made her feel more desirable. Bill was always complimenting her on how she looked, but she felt he had to do it because he was her husband. The guys at the club, they wanted to eat her up. Bill was sitting at his laptop filling out an online form. At 9:45, Anna came downstairs. He looked at her. Did she stay or did she go? She was in high heels, showing off her long, slender legs disappearing into a short, tight blue dress. He didn't say anything. Was she going to accept his offer to let her husband take her to the dance, or was she going out with her promiscuous girlfriends? She still looked a little indecisive, and after a painful pause for both of them, she spoke. I can't be late. We can talk about it tomorrow. Bill shook his head slowly and went back to his computer, ignoring his wife. She stepped toward the exit, unsure if her husband was bluffing. He didn't even hear the front door close as she left. He finished filling out the form and sent it in, attaching the link to the email and clicking send. Bill went upstairs and threw his clothes in a couple of suitcases. On Monday, he would tell his boss that he accepted the job he had been offered in Dubai. He hailed a cab and while he waited sent a message to his wife's family group. Hi all. I'm sorry you have to find this out from me, but Anna has made it clear to me that she demands more excitement from life than I can give. He hung up the phone. Anna grabbed her bag and phone and quickly left, completely ignoring Gail and not noticing her other two friends as she passed them on the street. She found a cab and was home 15 minutes later. On the way, she tried to call her husband, but his phone went to voicemail. The house was quiet and deserted. Anna kicked off her shoes and ran upstairs. Most of his clothes, his shaving kit were gone. She went back downstairs, his phone, his laptop, his wallet, all gone. Anna rushed upstairs again, his passport was gone, too. He had warned her. There was no ambiguity. There was no room for misinterpretation. If she left, she would return to an empty house. She knew he had never lied, and she knew he had been betrayed by a girl in the past, and Bill put honesty above all else. He did exactly what he said he would do. Anna went downstairs again in utter confusion. An hour ago she had been married. Now she was separated. In less than a year she would be divorced. To go out dancing. Then she saw the picture above the fireplace. It didn't look right. When Anna examined the image, she almost threw up. It was a picture from someone's social network. It showed a young man kneeling and proposing to his girlfriend. But there, in the background, was Anna. And making out with some guy brazenly groping her boobs. Above the picture, Bill wrote Looney in big black letters. What happened next? Bill went abroad, and Anna was given the freedom she dreamed of. Everything after that Anna's abortion 6 months later, Bill eventually marrying that sweet and charming Australian girl he met while surfing in Dubai are separate stories that may or may not be told. But their story, Bill and Anna's story, ended there.
Story 1. I'm 35 and male, and I'm going through a tough time, guys. Hence deciding to come here and open up my heart to you. I'm going through a divorce with my wife, Laura. We've been married for 6 years. 6 long years. After more than half a decade of being together, I got to know that she was cheating on me with all my friends. Gosh, I wanted to punch myself to believe that she was a social person and, well, just got good with my friends. Little did I know that she was gluing on something else. I'm in a deep rage and sorrow as I write this, so please excuse me if I just rant over my miserable life. Laura and I have been married for 6 years, and we were a happy couple. At least that's what I thought. I loved her dearly, with all my heart and soul. After all, she was the most wonderful woman I've ever met. Laura and I met at guitar class. She was one of those girls who got the paramount male attention because of her beauty. Needless to say, I too was also one of her admirers, but an introvert, hence I never had the guts to ask her out. If it was not for Laura, who by the way made the first move in approaching me, I would have a different fate today. I was good at playing the guitar, and she was a newbie at the music house. I still remember that day vividly when Laura first approached me. I was busy practicing my new notes when somebody taps me from behind, saying, "Hey, John, it's Laura." She needed some help with her music lessons, and she approached me for help. Well, that was the beginning of a 2-year relationship and 6 years of marriage. We both were working individuals during our courtship period, but after marriage, Laura decided to quit her job and wanted to pursue a music career. I work for a corporate office, so I did not see any financial challenges in Laura's decision. My salary was well off to manage a lifestyle for two. Hardly did I realize and I was her ATM. Laura had expensive clothing and taste of perfume and whatnot. I obliged all her demands as a good husband. As I mentioned earlier, Laura is a social and extroverted person. She makes friends very quickly, whereas it's difficult for me to make friends easily. To be honest, I adore her for her friendliness, for being able to bond so well with all my friends while I was still struggling to be able to get comfortable with hers. I would have never found out the truth or even doubted her if I did not see those filthy conversations of her with my friends. A month ago, my laptop crashed unexpectedly while I was in the middle of something important. Hence I reached out to Laura's laptop just to finish my task. Laura was not home at the time, and her laptop was locked, so I called her to get the password, but she did not respond. She went shopping with her friends. Well, that's what she told me. So I tried different combinations of alphabets and numbers to unlock her laptop. After trying several combinations using our anniversary date, my and her name together, I was finally able to unlock the laptop using her birth date. Of course, she loves herself that much. When I logged into the laptop, the browsers were open, but I did not bother to check any of the minimized windows. I just focused on my task. While I was busy doing my work, I could see several notifications popping up in one of the tabs. It was WhatsApp. She was logged into her WhatsApp through her laptop and left it open. After completing my work, when I was about to shut down the laptop, something inside me told me to click on it. Go ahead, click on that WhatsApp tab, which was in the minimized state until now. For a moment, I felt creepy for looking at my wife's WhatsApp conversation while I was still deciding on taking a peek at her messages. I saw notifications flooding in as if she was having a conversation with someone. Well, this got me curious because she was not answering my phone, and on the other hand, she was active on WhatsApp and chatting with someone, so I clicked on the WhatsApp tab hesitantly. At that moment, I experienced a gut-wrenching revelation as I stumbled upon the messages unraveling my world. I was right. As I clicked on the WhatsApp screen, I saw that she was online and was chatting with somebody. With the initial conversations, it seemed that she had just left the place of the person she was talking to, and they're already missing each other. So, I clicked on the profile picture, and I was shocked to my core. It was my friend Tony. I just shook my head in disbelief. What? Laura is cheating on me with Tony. I scrolled further to see the intensity and darkness of the dull life that Laura was leading. I found myself drowning in my wife's flirtatious exchanges with her affair partner, leaving me grappling with a profound sense of betrayal and shattered trust. I was partially correct. Laura was cheating on me, but not only with Tony. She has flings and one-night stands with many of my friends. I was shivering with anger and disbelief. How could I not know? I went into autopilot mode and quickly printed out all the chat combos that she had with her lovers. I didn't know how to confront her regarding this. In my last 6 years of marriage, I barely had a tiff with her. She was just so adorable that I never said no to anything. She was right in calling me a puppet in one of the conversations with an affair partner. My world revolved around her, which crumbled into pieces after seeing those explicit chats and compromising pictures. So I tracked her WhatsApp messages and got to know that after leaving her lover's house, she pinged her girlfriend to go shopping. I wanted to run away and bury myself and never see her face again, but a part of me wanted to know the truth. So, why the hell she cheated on me, despite everything I've done for her? I was raging with anger. My head was heavy and I could feel the grief traveling to my guts. As soon as she reached home, I threw the printouts of the conversation at her face. I could not find any better way of confronting her. Well, she was frozen for a moment, seeing herself getting exposed. If it was some other person, she would have remorse for her mistakes and would have pleaded for mercy and forgiveness. But this is Laura. She's an entitled woman who thinks that she owns the world. Instead of being guilty of her mistakes, she just turned into her head. She said, "How dare you log into my laptop and check my messages? How dare you intrude into my privacy? What the hell? How dare I?" I lost my mind. I yelled at her for the first time and asked her sternly to reason out her infidelity. She kept saying that it's just for fun. For fun? Do you sleep with a half dozen of men that I know for fun? I told her up front that I can't live with her and I'm divorcing her now. That's when she turned pale, when I spelled out the word, divorce. Until then, she was fighting back. She was confident in herself that she could get away with her crime without being punished. Well, guess what? She got a reality check when I asked her to pack her stuff and get the heck out. She would have never imagined that I would ask her to do so. She knew that I was too much in love with her to let her go. So I asked her to leave the house immediately. She tried to hug me and pacify me, but I shrugged her off. And that's when she grabbed my knees and begged for forgiveness, saying it's a one-time mistake. I would have forgiven her if it was a one-time mistake, but it wasn't. It was a malicious act, deliberately and meticulously planned, more than a dozen times, more than a baker's dozen, to cheat and betray me. I felt humiliated. She slept with my friends while mocking my loving and subdued nature. She even told my friends that I was not wild and adventurous enough, hence she was seeking those from them. I felt so disgusted. I still can't get over those conversations where she made fun of my love and care. The visuals of those conversations are still haunting and I can't get over it. I left the house and went to my best friend Mark. Gladly he was not involved with Laura, or else I would have been shattered to the core with no one to share my grief. So I told him everything, crying and howling like a fifth grader. After hearing me out completely, Mark told me that maybe all this started 2 years back when we met at a school reunion. He told me that our school friends were mesmerized by Laura's beauty and charisma. He even heard Tony, the same guy that Laura was with that day, saying that he would consider himself to be blessed if he gets to spend just one private moment with Laura. I pounced on Mark for not informing me about all this before. Mark said that he did not take these remarks to be serious, and brushed off all of this as typical boy talk. It's common for men to say such things for their friend's hot wife, but they didn't mean it. While I was discussing all these with Mark, my phone was bombarded with messages and calls from Laura asking for forgiveness. In a fit of rage, I called her and asked, "When did all this start?" She sobbed from the other end, and I kept repeating myself, "When the hell did this start? Did this happen at my school reunion?" Oh, Mark was right. All of it did start at the reunion. At the event, we all exchanged each other's contact, and that's when Laura got in touch with my school friends. She confessed that it started with a friendly text on social media, which progressed into flirty conversations. Well, one thing led to another and she cheated. Physically, she started as a one-time experience, but she loved the thrill and continued to betray me. She had a physical relationship with at least 6 of my friends and many other men. I spent the next 1 week at my friend's house, getting my STD test done and hiring a lawyer. I sent the divorce papers to her through my lawyer, and the official notice to vacate my home. I don't want to see her face ever again. It's been a month since that fateful day, and I'm still not able to get to my terms with the fact that she was cheating on me for the last 2 years. I was such a fool to never doubt her intentions. I just want this pain to get over so that I can move on with my life. I feel clueless and directionless. I have to cut off from everyone in the last month, immersing myself in video games. I've called in sick at my work for most of the last month, and have been working from home for the remaining months. I don't want to meet anyone. I'm writing this just to disburden my heart with the hope that it makes me feel better. Update number 1. Hey everyone, thank you for the support and advice during my tough time. It's been 6 months since my last update. My divorce is going to be settled next week, and I'm feeling relieved to be finally released from the claws of my ex-wife. After I left the house and went to Mark's place for a week, Laura continued to live in our home. She refused the divorce, and she was insisting that I take all these lightly, and that those affairs did not mean anything to her. Well, you know what? It's meant a lot to me. She did not leave the house until my lawyer sent her an official notice to vacate. Until then, she was hopeful that I would go back to her once my anger subsides and my love for her takes over. After receiving the notice, she blasted my phone with messages and voicemails to forgive her and start fresh. After I turned a blind eye to all her pleadings, she turned defensive. She blamed me for being cold to her and not being an adventurous person. If someone around the world gets an award for narcissism, then I'm not sure. Guys, it has to be Laura. She's the evilest woman I've ever come across. God knows what I was smoking when I fell in love with her. I blocked her from everywhere because she's not letting me move on with my life. I don't know how many weeks I've spent on the sofa crying and cursing my fate. Despite the court hearings, Laura was not ready to divorce me. Of course, she did not want to lose her ATM. She pleaded on getting back together, but I was adamant about divorcing her. She did not only cheat me, she humiliated me, she mocked my love and my care, and I can't forgive her for that. She claimed a share in my house because we were together for 6 years. If that was not all, she demanded a huge alimony for the divorce, claiming that it was an open marriage between us. She framed me to be the one who had encouraged her to open the marriage, and later, when my insecurities took over, I wanted to divorce her. What BS. I'm never in favor of open marriages. She also alleged me of having an affair with my colleagues. Of course, she could not prove her baseless claims, and her demands were rejected by the court. If there's anyone who needs to be compensated, it's me. In fact, my lawyers even asked me if I wanted to claim any penalty amount, but I declined. I know that she's jobless, and that her parents would have to bear that money. I don't want to penalize them for their daughter's mistakes. So, after 6 months of mental trauma and several breakdowns, I'm glad that it's all going to end in a few days. I got a call from my lawyer a minute ago that the court's going to grant us the divorce next week, and I could feel a sense of relief in my heart. I'm looking forward to moving on with my life and concentrating on my work. I'm planning to start my guitar classes again. I don't even remember the last time I played my guitar. Maybe it was many years ago. I got so busy with my work to maintain and support Laura's lifestyle that I forgot to live for myself. Thank you for supporting me. I'll keep you guys updated. Update number 2. Hey guys, it's been 6 months since the last update. As mentioned in my last post, I was finally able to get rid of my narcissistic wife. Today is exactly 1 year of my first post where I was crying and howling in front of you guys, whining over my unfaithful wife. This is going to be a shorter update. While the pain and scars of trauma are still alive, I'm in a much better place now. Soon after my divorce, I rejoined my guitar classes. I took some certification courses as well, which helped me in getting a promotion in the financial year. Even after the divorce, Laura continued to contact, though unknown number of landlines, somehow, sometimes pleading with me to get back with her, sometimes threatening me with dire consequences for ditching her, and sometimes cursing me for her miserable life. Meanwhile, I saw my friend's Instagram stories with Laura, where she was partying and dancing. All with them, so I blocked all my friends whom Laura cheated on me with. God knows what she's up to. I did not date anyone. I feel that I'm not ready to open my heart again to someone. A few weeks ago, my best friend Mark had set me up on a date with his colleague Molly. After my divorce, this was the 3rd time he had tried to set me up with someone. His first 2 attempts were futile, as I didn't show. In his 3rd attempt, Mark did not take a risk. He picked me up from my office and dropped me at the cafe where I was supposed to meet Molly. Hence, there was no way I could escape. Although nothing panned up from that meeting, I had a good conversation after a long time. Molly was a nice girl, but not someone who I'd want to see in the light of a romantic partner. This meeting instilled a spark in me, though, to give another chance to myself. I'm thinking of installing some dating apps to further explore my chances. What do you guys think? Update number 3. Hello friends. Thank you for the suggestions on the dating apps. I did try a few of them and connected with some amazing women, but nothing panned out with anyone beyond a couple coffee dates. Besides that, I have an interesting update for you, so hang on with a coffee. A year ago, when the news of our divorce reached my parents-in-law, they both called me and apologized for the nasty behavior of their daughter. My father-in-law yelled at my mother-in-law for pampering Laura to the extent that she feels entitled to do anything she wants. Laura's younger sister, Sarah, also apologized to me for Laura's narcissism. Over the last 1 year, Sarah's been in regular touch with me, supporting me and motivating me to move on with my life. Actually, Sarah is also one of the victims of Laura's cruelty. I wasn't aware of this until now. Sarah's 2 years younger than Laura, but way more mature and understanding. She told me the backstory behind Laura's entitled behavior. Laura is a blessed child because she was born after a few miscarriages, hence she was pampered to the core by her parents. In fact, Laura used to mock Sarah by saying that their parents brought her into this world because Laura wanted a baby to play with. Laura treated Sarah no less than a toy, hence she was never close to her elder sister. I find a sense of peace and compassion while speaking to Sarah. She understands my pain and my silence. Besides, Sarah is also the one who encouraged me to go out and give myself a second chance. I feel that her intention is genuine and she wants good for me. Of late, I find myself enjoying her company. During my 6 years of marriage with Laura, I've met Sarah 4 to 5 times during family events or so. It was no more than a formal exchange of greetings. Even in the last year of conversations, we've only connected over chat messages. I met her last week for lunch. This was my started going back with her colleagues to get over me, but we both kind of got stuck with each other's feeling. After a month of this experiment, we both decided to stop seeing each other and instead put an effort to know each other better. Yeah, we finally started talking like potential partners. I've never been so happy in content. Neither when I was with Laura. After talking to each other for 2 years and officially dating for a year, we finally decided to marry. However, our path to marriage is not an easy one. We had to address the elephant in the room, which is that of Laura. And well, we both knew the consequences of our decisions, and we knew that Laura would turn the world upside down when she gets this news. I got to know from other mutual friends that Laura has moved on with her life, and that she's dating other people. Sarah never discussed Laura, except for the first few instances where she told me about her horrible childhood with Laura. Sarah informed her parents about us and both of them were shocked to know this. Needless to say, they both cautioned Sarah about Laura's rage. Things turned out to be exactly the same as we anticipated. Laura broke open 7 house. She berated Sarah for cheating on her with her brother-in-law. Seriously, brother-in-law. She called me from a landline and hurled abuses at me for trying to break into her house and manipulate Sarah and her family against her. She threatened to call the cops on me and get me arrested on the charges of manipulating her sister. She swore to ruin our life if we proceeded to marry each other. Well, I was initially terrified of her words, but when she cursed Sarah for ruining her life, I lost my mind. How can someone be so narcissistic? She was the one who was responsible for ruining her and mine's life. It was Sarah who uplifted me during the time of misery. And now when things are getting better for us, she's playing the victim. Laura's rage made an adamant need to stick to my decision of marrying Sarah. We both want to marry and get done with this, and Laura's been using her parents as the last resort to cancel the wedding. She's asking them to disown Sarah for marrying me. She's accusing me of brainwashing Sarah against her. She's told her parents that I don't really love Sarah. I'm just marrying her to get back at her. She thinks that I still love her and I can't love anyone else. Well, she's right to an extent. 2 years ago, I would have never imagined loving anyone except Laura. I love and trusted her with my life. Now things are different, and I'm in love with Sarah. My second love is more mature and is growing on the pillars of mutual respect, unlike the first one. Laura had made our life hell in the last month after she got to know about our relationship. She's trying all means to stop our wedding. She's emotionally blackmailing her parents to threaten Sarah to call off the wedding, and her parents know me well, hence they did not tell me anything. However, they've been softly asking Sarah to reconsider her decision. I think their parents are also at fault for Laura's entitled attitude. They should have supported Sarah and put Laura in her place. Nevertheless, the wedding is scheduled for this coming Sunday, and I'm pretty sure that Laura's going to create a ruckus at the venue. She threatened to vandalize the place by lighting it on fire and whatnot. I've arranged for an extra security for Sarah. I've given the pictures of Laura and have instructed security agents to be cautious of her. My parents have called up Sarah's parents and have asked them to keep Laura in check, but that girl is beyond anyone's control. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm looking forward to starting the new chapter of my life with Sarah. Final update. Hey guys, a quick update. It's been a week from our marriage. The wedding was no less than a climax of a daily soap opera. As expected, Laura Gate crashed at the wedding venue. She snuck into Sarah's room with a pair of scissors just to destroy her wedding dress, but she was caught just at the right moment by a few of Sarah's friends and was chased out of the room. You should never run with scissors. Before others could spot her, she vandalized the wedding venue by pulling down the flower decorations and throwing water at the food items. She was messing with the security agents and was beyond anyone's control. So my father called the cops to stop her from causing any further destruction. Her parents pleaded with the police to let her go, so they took her home and did not attend the wedding. Sarah was disheartened at her parents' absence to the wedding, but my father walked her down the aisle instead. It's been a week of togetherness with Sarah, and I feel that we're just meant for each other because of everything we've gone through. Please wish me luck in the future, but it's over.
My name is Bob O'Reilly. I am 30 now. I'm 5'7", red hair, and in decent shape.
I work in a factory on a production line on second shift and have been for 2 years. I don't have a fancy education. I graduated from high school and no college. I did spend 8 years in the army as a heavy equipment operator. I had 2 tours overseas, 1 tour in Iran and 1 tour in Afghanistan. I didn't do any fighting but did get shot at a lot. I got married to my high school sweetheart when I got out of the service 3 years ago. Story start. It was great at first, but now it is just hell. I found out my wife has been cheating on me the whole time. I have been going to school to become a truck driver. I know I have PTSD syndrome because of my time in the service, but I do go to a psychologist for it 3 times a week. I didn't feel well one night and came home early from work. I was going to unlock my apartment door and I could hear Rhonda laughing and talking to some guy. They were laughing at me and saying what a dumbass I was. I wanted to bust in and kick the both of them, but I did learn some good advice from my time in the army. Never rush in, never do anything when you are mad. I had to walk away and calm down. Here I was going to work all night, going to school during the day, and going to a psychologist 3 times a week. The next day I went and talked to my psychologist about it. I told him that I had come really close to them, but I decided I would get them back and make them regret it without me going to jail. He wanted me to start seeing him every day, but I told him that I couldn't because of school and that because of him I hadn't get them. I took a week's vacation and decided I would find out who this guy was and figure out what to do. I bought 3 small spy cameras on the internet that recorded video and sound. They would activate when there was sound. Update 1. I watched my apartment to try and find out who this guy was. He was coming over every night. That shows how big of a moron I was. I found out his name was John Rich. In the next 2 days I got a new phone and new phone number. Then I found a new apartment in the next town over. I then went to my landlords to cancel my lease at the end of this month. I went to my bank and changed my savings, checking and credit cards. I canceled my auto and homeowner's insurance and went to a new company and got new insurance just for me at the new address. I called the utilities and asked them to change my account and to shut off the utilities at the end of the month at my old address. I went to my job to talk with HR and asked to change my insurance to just me. I then asked to talk to the plant manager. I went in and I explained what was happening to me. He seemed really nice and told me he had gone through a similar thing. He told me that I could be transferred to a different plant but said it would have to be a 3rd shift position. I told him that would be no problem. He didn't know that I would be quitting in 2 months so that I could start my new job as a truck driver. He asked me if I had a good lawyer yet. I told him that was going to be the next thing on my list. He gave me his wife's lawyer's name, Mrs. Jenny Kurtz, and told me that she was a real shark. I thanked him and left. I called the lawyer's office to make an appointment for the next day. I then went over to a friend's house, Pete. I asked if he could help me move. We had a beer and he said he could get a truck and some friends that could help and that he would just need to know when. I told him that it would be the end of the month. I also told him that I would buy beer and pizza for the guys that helped. He said that was great. Update 2. I had got a lot of things done in the last couple days. When I got home, Rhonda was asleep as usual. I got the videos of Ron and John F in my bed and them talking about me again and of what an idiot I am. I noticed that John uses my shower gel, shampoo, mouthwash, shaving cream. He took my toothbrush and stuck it in the toilet. Rhonda laughed. Oh boy, am I going FC them over. I was pissed. The next afternoon, I told Rhonda that I had some things that I had to do. I did not want to be near her or I would kick her. I had to be a great actor. I found out where Asa worked. He is a used car salesman. I went and got all new toiletries, shower gel, shampoo, mouthwash, toothbrush, and toothpaste. I also bought a small gym bag to keep that stuff in. When I went in the shower, I pissed in all my old stuff. Payback is a bit. As I was watching as it turns out he has more than one girlfriend. I followed him, keeping track of every woman he was messing with. I took pictures of them kissing and hugging, making out. Aren't today's cell phones great with their cameras? I have 2 weeks left to get everything together. Second story. I went to the lawyer's office. I explained to her what was going on. I also handed her a flash drive with the videos I had of Rhonda and John. Jenny watched some of it. She was disgusted of what he did to my toothbrush and at how they both laughed about it. I told her that I had found out that he was dating other married women also. I told her I had video of him with them. I called the other husbands and had them meet us at a restaurant in 5 days. I didn't tell them why. I told her I might have more clients for her. I left and went back to follow John. I found out that he had a motel room that he was renting that he would bring these women to. I bought 2 more spy cameras. I dressed up like a repairman and got the chambermaid Kelly to let me in. I paid her $500. I also told her why I was doing what I was doing. She told to me that she was divorced because of a cheating husband and had wished someone had done for her what I was doing for the other husbands. I told her that I would need to get back into the room to remove the camera after I was done in a few days. She said it would be no problem. I had set one camera on the inside and facing the bed, and I moved the curtains so that I could place one camera on the outside of the window looking in so that the videos would be allowed in court. I found out that one of the women he was fucking was his boss's wife. I copied all the videos on flash drives. I went to the doctor's office and got tested for STDs. It ended up being negative. 5 days later, Monday, at the restaurant, all the husbands showed up with no idea why they were there. My lawyer Jenny introduced me and herself. I handed each husband a flash drive with videos of their wives getting effed by John. I also gave them all the information about John. I told them that Friday is when I am having my wife and John served. Also, it is the 30th. Saturday is the 31st and end of the month. I told them everything I had done to get ready to divorce so they could do similar. My lawyer Jenny asked me how I was doing. She thanked me for the new clients. All 5 of the other husbands took Jenny as their lawyer also. Jenny asked me what I had been doing about John and my toothbrush. I asked her if she was sure she wanted to know. She said yes. I told her I had been pissing in the shower gel and the shampoo. As for the toothpaste, she didn't want to know. She just laughed. I gave her all new flash drives to help with the other cases. I called Kelly, the chambermaid, so that I could remove the cameras. I also asked her if she would like to go out to dinner set. She said yes. I called Pete for Friday afternoon. He told me no problem. I have been staying away from Rhonda. We haven't had a sex since I found out she was cheating. I don't even think she noticed. I called and made an all-day spa appointment for her for Friday to say I was sorry. She was really happy. She called Assel and told him she was going to be busy Friday. He was not happy. Update: I had put in for another day off for Friday. Friday morning, Rhonda was all excited and left for her appointment. I called Pete and he showed up with the guys and truck. We went to work cleaning out my stuff. We had all my stuff packed in 2 hours. They went into the bathroom to get the stuff and I told them not to touch it. By this time, Rhonda was served at the spa and John was served at now his ex-job. All the wives were served at the same time. John was found in his motel room, beaten up. Rhonda was pissed when she got home and found out that I had disappeared and that John had been F around on her too. Rhonda had to move in with her parents, just as her lawyer thought he had found me at work. I started my job as a long-haul truck driver. My lawyer Jenny had my power of attorney to get my divorce done. Rhonda was fighting the divorce, but ended up giving up. 6 months later, I was free. John walks with a permanent limp and has lost his nuts. For a while, it seemed like every other month something was broken on him. I feel so bad for him, yay right. I guess all the cheating wives were divorced. One guy did this to everyone. Third story. 5 years after the divorce, I was sitting in a restaurant and someone tapped me on the shoulder. It was Rhonda. She looked like she had aged 10 years. She asked if she could sit down for a few minutes and talk to me. I pointed to the chair and said please. Rhonda teared up and said she was so sorry for what she had done to me. You could have blown me over with a feather. I told her that I had forgiven her years ago. She told us and boundaries. Engage in self-improvement activities such as therapy, self-help books, or workshops to aid in your healing process. 7. Reach out for support. Don't hesitate to lean on your support system. Surround yourself with trusted friends, family, or support groups who can provide emotional support and guidance. Sharing your feelings and experiences with others who have gone through similar situations can be helpful. 8. Give yourself time to heal. Healing takes time, and everyone's journey is different. Be patient with yourself and allow yourself the space to heal at your own pace. It's normal to experience setbacks or conflicting emotions, so be gentle with yourself as you navigate the healing process. Remember, these tips are general in nature, and every situation is unique. It's essential to trust your instincts and do what feels right for you. Your wife can take to demonstrate her commitment and potentially impress you. Accept responsibility and show remorse. Your wife should acknowledge her actions and take